Good evening. It's 8 p.m. UK time, so it's definitely time to start our live event. And I'm very happy to be back here with you. I'm your host, Caroline. And as you can see, we do have a guest with us tonight. It's Andreia Trigo. Hello, Andreia. How are you feeling tonight? I do hope you are good and ready to give us some new tips again.
Absolutely. I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to be talking about this topic today. I think it's very relevant for the year that we're all having that is coming to an end. So really excited to be here.
And we are definitely happy to have you back. And it's always great pleasure to have you as our presenter. So thank you so much for joining us once again and bringing this topic. And of course, we will start with your presentation as always, and then it will be time for your questions. So just type those in the chat section during the presentation or afterwards so that Andrea can help you out. And as you know, we are here every single day to support you, and we bring all kinds of topics to you as we want to simply support you, help you out with your questions, and also give you the opportunity to get the insights from top fertility experts, but also fertility coaches, some acupuncturists. But as we have today, Andrea is also a multi-awarded nurse consultant, author, TEDx speaker. So I could go on like this, as you know. And she's also a founder of Inhouse program, which has started in November, I think. Yes, your app was launched in November.
Yeah, it
So
was, it hasn't been a month yet. Yeah.
exactly, it's not even a month yet. So lots of things has been going on for you. So I am very happy that you have found some time to spend this evening with us as well. And before we start with your presentation, as you know, we are here because we also have a great support from our ambassadors and partners. And if you look closely, you will see that Andrea is also a part of our kind of team as well. So thank you so much, Andrea, for simply being here with us and also supporting our Stronger Together initiative. And the topic for tonight is building resilience and confidence for successful IVF. So thank you so much, Andrea, once again. And well, let's go ahead with your presentation. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot.
But today we're going to talk about building resilience and confidence for successful fertility treatment. And I think this topic is so important because you are having sometimes several years of fertility treatment, of trying to conceive, of thinking that this is the cycle when you are going to finally have that positive pregnancy test and everything is going to go all right and you're going to have your family. And then it doesn't happen. And it's a huge disappointment. And then you need to find the strength again to try again. So those cycles of hope and despair can make it really difficult to remain hopeful, remain confident that this will indeed happen for you. So, how do we remain confident whilst we're undergoing treatment? And also, how do we build this resilience, especially in this year that we're having? I think we are all in the world being put to the test, and we're all having to build these resilient skills, and we're being forced to do it. But you know, we're all humans, and we're all facing the coronavirus pandemic and the challenges that come with it. But if on top of that you still have the challenges of trying to conceive and having fertility treatments, I mean, how much of us can we give to the process? How much resilience, how much confidence do we have within ourselves? And also, how can we build that resilience and confidence? Because it's like a muscle that we can train to get better and better and better. So this is what I'm going to talk to you today. But for those of you who don't know me, I would like to say that, yes, I am a nurse. I'm a researcher, lecturer. I talk a lot about fertility, but my drive for doing what I do comes from my own diagnosis of infertility when I was very young, at the age of 17. So I want you to know that even though I am a healthcare professional, I do understand how you feel because I have been there myself. So you are not alone in this journey. Um, as Caroline said, I'm a TEDx speaker and I've created the Enhanced Fertility program. So some of the tools that I'm giving you today are part of this Enhanced Fertility program. And we launched a few weeks ago. If you don't have access to it yet, then you can go to the Apple Store or the Google Store and download the app. It's called Enhanced Fertility Program, and it's completely free. And it's an app that has a lot of education, support tools, making it really simple for you um, to understand aspects about your health, lifestyle, about your emotions, and different ways of getting support as well. So if you access the app, you'll be able to, for example, complete a self-assessment questionnaire or check an online fertility course that has 5 modules with almost 80 lessons. So you can read from anything from fertility treatment to fertility problems to trying naturally or trying via assisted conception. You also have mindfulness recordings, CBT exercises, our monthly support group. So all of this you can have access for free. So I would invite you to download it if you haven't done so yet, because it's my gift to this community. Ultimately, I want to help people to have access to the treatment that they need when they need it, and I want them to be supported along the way. That is my big mission in life, as a way of trying to give meaning to my own journey of infertility. So it's my gift to you, and I hope you make use of it. I will add the link to the chat function at the end, so I don't sidetrack you from today's webinar. But I'll promise I'll write the link so you can download it straight away. And today, I've been asked to talk about resilience and confidence for successful fertility treatment. And like I said, this has never been more important than for those who are facing fertility challenges in the year of 2020. Because fertility is already so challenging as it is. The cycles of hope and despair of having to believe that it's going to work after having had several attempts that haven't worked. When you add a pandemic on top of it, with all the uncertainty, with all the challenges that everyone is going through, it's really, really difficult. So today, I want to start by explaining to you what resilience and confidence is. And then I'm going to tell you 6 steps that you can follow step by step to help you build that resilience. And I would say that for some of you who are thinking, okay, is also the end of the year, which can be so triggering, especially because you might be thinking, it's Christmas time, it's the end of the year. I would have thought that I would have had a baby by now, or I would be pregnant this Christmas, and it's another year that ends. How do I continue being hopeful, confident, resilient that even though it hasn't happened this year, it's going to happen in 2021? So I think this is a very, very important topic for all of you. And I would like to thank all of you who have taken the time to be here today. I think you're going to take a lot of value, not only for your challenges in fertility, for your challenges in remaining hopeful and confident for the following year, but also for your challenges when it comes to the coronavirus challenges that we are all going through. So take some notes. We're going to answer some questions at the end. More than happy to answer your questions as well. And I would like to start by reflecting what resilience and confidence is. And these things can mean different things for different people. But basically, it's us having faith in ourselves or having faith and believing in a certain outcome in life regarding a certain situation. And how do we remain confident? How do we have that faith, that belief that something is going to happen? We get it in two ways. One of them is by the way that we are brought up. So, by the way that our others, our parents, our teachers, how they think about ourselves and how they have taught us to think about ourselves. Have they taught us to believe in ourselves, that we are strong, that we can cope with no matter what happens? Or have we been taught to maybe give up as soon as there is a small hurdle along the way? So the way that we have been brought up since we were young matters a lot in our levels of confidence, but it's not determinant. So I want to tell you that even if you had that upbringing, the steps that we are going to give you today, you can change that for yourself. But just be aware that maybe the way you feel about your situation right now, if you have lack of confidence in yourself or in the process, that might be because of the way you were brought up. And the second thing that can affect our confidence and our belief about the certain outcome of the situation is the result of our past experiences. And you might say that really applies to me because I've had several years of trying to conceive, or I've had several cycles of fertility treatment. It hasn't worked. So over time, I'm lacking confidence. Maybe I entered this process thinking that IVF was the golden bullet that was going to resolve all my problems and I was going to get pregnant quickly, and it didn't happen. So maybe my confidence levels are reducing because of my past experiences. And I want you to know that confidence can naturally increase and decrease. And some days you might be feeling that you are very confident and you can conquer the world and you can cope with treatment and with whatever happens. But there are other days when you might be feeling, actually, I'm not feeling okay today. Actually, I'm not feeling that this is going to work. And it's absolutely normal to have these changes in your confidence levels. Ultimately, your confidence level will be affected by your state of mind. So no matter, depending on how you are feeling in that moment, you might feel more confident or less confident. So having this idea that your thoughts and your beliefs will affect your confidence levels, your faith, your hope, your feeling hopeful about the future, are interconnected. So when treatment is not successful, you might feel that you can't do anything right now, or that maybe further treatment is not going to work, or that your confidence levels to do anything else in life will be affected as well. So my question is, how can we, regardless of the way that we were brought up, or regardless of the experiences that we've had over the last few months or over the last few years, how can we live in a state of gratitude, love, and joy after treatment, so that we can get that gratitude, love, and joy to give us the confidence to go after either further treatment or a life beyond infertility, whatever it might mean. But how can we live in a state of gratitude, love, and joy so that we can get whatever we want to get out of life? So, as humans, we have this ability to feel a range of emotions. I'm not sure if you've seen that movie by Pixar or Disney that had the four emotions that lived inside a little girl's head. Well, those are five basic emotions, but then from those, there's so many more emotions that we can feel. And it's our emotions that end up dictating our experience of life. However, a lot of us are not aware that we can control our emotions. And that's something that I'm going to teach you today. How can you get control of your emotions so that they don't get in control of you? So once you start understanding that your feelings are within your emotions, you can start by building your confidence levels. It's not something that you are born with, it's something that you must create within you, regardless of the experiences you've had, regardless of the way you were brought up. There is a way to create confidence, to build the muscle of confidence and hope and faith that the outcome is going to happen. So it takes a certain certainty that you can accomplish what you are set to do. And it's like any other emotion, from all that big, if you search wheel of emotions, you're going to see that there's a lot of emotion. So it's just like another emotion. And it's something that you can feel. It's something that we can definitely train ourselves to access in an instant. So the 6 steps that I want to teach you today is about helping you access the confidence, because when you are entering this certain process, let's say you want to start the year of 2021 with more confidence, or you want to start a certain job with more confidence, or you want to start treatment with confidence that it's going to work. If you follow these 6 steps, then you are going to feel more confident in any of those processes. So, so learning how to be confident is important, like I said, for every aspect of your life. But there are certain crucial times when it's even more important. And these are the times when you are thinking that you might give up, might want to give up. So if you had more, if you've had a treatment and you're feeling very drained and you're feeling maybe I want to give up right now, and it's absolutely okay to feel that way. But I usually say that we shouldn't make decisions when we are overly upset, overly distressed, or overly happy. So it's always good to make decisions when our emotions are a bit more in check, when we can balance the emotional and the rational side of our brains together. So if you feel that this is you, I want you to learn these steps. And I'm going to dive into the first step. And the first step is all about the purpose. And it's important because we want to understand your purpose, your why. Why do you want to feel more confident? Once you know your purpose, you can learn how to build the confidence, and it becomes very easy to follow the next steps. Do you want to feel confident because you want to be open to the process of treatment? Or do you want to feel confident because you want to feel good about yourself or to have a good relationship? Or do you want to feel confident because it will give you good opportunities at work? So it works in several aspects of life, but you need to understand, why do I want to be confident and hopeful? What will my life look like when I feel confident and hopeful? What will I gain from being in a state of feeling hopeful and confident? Do you act differently in life when you are confident to when you are feeling hopeless and when you believe that nothing is going to work? We act differently. So, what will you get from feeling confidence? And this is super, super important. So, I would think that if you have a pen and paper at hand, I would invite you to write down, what is your purpose? Why do you want to be confident? How will your life look like when you are in that state of absolute certainty, absolute confidence that it's going to work? The next step, step number 2, once you know why it's important to you, it's all about changing your outlook. Your outlook is the way you perceive the circumstances, because the way we are perceiving the circumstances will change the way we feel. So if we're not feeling confident right now, it's related to the lenses that we are using to see and perceive the situation right now. Maybe I'm thinking that this situation is not going to happen, that treatment is not going to give me a baby, that I'm not going to get pregnant, or that my partner is going to leave me. If that is my belief system, if that is what I think is going to happen, that is going to trigger a certain feeling within me of self-doubt. And if I have self-doubt, I cannot be confident. So we need to be aware of the questions that we are asking ourselves. What are we self-doubting? What are the beliefs that are in our head? And we need to understand that whatever we say in our head constantly becomes our experience of life. If I'm constantly self-doubting myself, or doubting the process, or not believing in the process, that becomes my experience of life. So we need to notice what thoughts are showing up in our brain on a regular basis. And once you notice those thoughts, we start by identifying what is the belief behind the thought. If I'm thinking that treatment is not going to work, why do I believe that treatment is not going to work? What are the reasons for me to believe that? And then we need to start shifting the pattern of thought. And this is a process that we call process of thought modification. So if our brain very naturally and easily looks for all the reasons why something is not going to work. And it's a natural part of our brain that does that, because it almost prepares us for something bad that can happen. It's a protective mechanism. However, we need to teach our brain to look at all the evidence, not only the reasons why it's not going to work, but all the reasons why it might work. So we need to consider, for example, that this next cycle I might have an embryo transfer plan, for example, and I have a better quality embryo, or I have the perfect uterus lining this time, or I'm having the perfect diet and I've had acupuncture. Whatever it is that you're doing, think about all the things that maybe are different now to your past experiences, and all these things that are different, that you know more about your body, that you understand the process better, maybe they are the reason why it's going to work. So we need to change your outlook, the way you are perceiving the situation. So, and I like to think about this, start noticing positive things, not only about yourself, about the process. And then you are going to start building that first seed of confidence. It all starts by changing your outlook. And it is possible, but sometimes we are so consumed by the whole process that it can be really hard to notice first our beliefs and then to notice all the evidence. So sometimes some people need a bit of help in this sense. And if that's the case, then I'm more than happy to have a chat individually with you about this as well, because it's a very important part of the process. Now, step number 3, now that you're starting to notice that the situation might look differently to what you've been noticing so far, I want you to notice your achievements, the things that you have achieved so far that maybe you haven't celebrated enough. And maybe you really, really wanted to achieve something. And once you've achieved, you were happy, for an hour or 2 days, but then were you happy after a week, after a month, after 2 months? Do you still remember that achievement? So step number 3 is about taking pride in the things that you achieve. And I want you to write down something that you are really, really proud that you have achieved. It might be, for example, that over all these months of trying to conceive, or over all these years of trying to conceive, you've been able to learn more about your body and how your body works. And that's a huge achievement. How many people in the world don't know enough about their bodies? Or it might be that you became stronger because of this situation. Or it might be that you've made changes to your health and your lifestyle, your nutrition, for example. So I want you to really take pride in all these little things, small things or big things. We need to celebrate the things that you have already achieved, because noticing that will help you build your self-confidence. So we're going to recognize your accomplishments. It will immediately change your mood, change your outlook on life. And I want you to notice the self-talk that we were talking about earlier, all those limiting or negative beliefs. And I want you to start noticing how you are talking to yourself, the tiny voice in our head saying, you're not good enough, or why are you doing this, or all that talk that happens in our brains. And believe me, everyone has it. I want you to notice that, and I want you to start improving that self-talk. You might say something, for example, let's say you've prepared a cup of coffee in the morning and it was really good, the perfect taste of coffee, the perfect temperature. And you're going to say, you say your name, let's say, Andreia, you've made an amazing cup of coffee this morning. So I am congratulating myself for my achievements. Or I'm going to say, Andreia, you did so well this week because you managed to eat healthy and you're nourishing your body the right way. So verbalizing when you have achieved something small or big will help you build that confidence. So if you notice something about yourself that you have achieved this week, this past month, or even this year, what have you achieved despite all the challenges that you've had? What have you achieved, big or small? Write it down, because that will be a reminder that will help you build your confidence. Now, let's get to step number 4. And here we're talking about using our body language. And it's important because you might notice, for example, that someone who is confident has a different body language to someone who is not confident. If you notice, for example, you might have been in a situation where you meet someone else, maybe, for example, at work, and even before you talk to that person, you might have noticed that this person looks really, really confident, right? And the way you know that is because of their body language. So they might have their shoulders back, head up. They might speak confidently with the head up, and they are saying things very clearly, and they believe what they're saying. So I want you to practice using this body language. Even if you're not fully confident, I want you to put your body, your physiology, your posture, as if you were already fully confident. And you might, for example, remember a time in your life when you felt really, really confident. It may not be related to fertility. It might be related to something else. Maybe you are really good at doing something, a certain hobby, or maybe you're really good at your job, and maybe you were teaching someone else. And I want you to think about that time when you were confident. How was your body positioned? And I want you to practice that. There's a very interesting research that says that if you assume the power pose, superwoman pose for 2 minutes, you instantly change your mood and you instantly feel more confident. So even if you do this for 2 minutes, you are instantly changing your mood. So remember all the steps that are building up to this stage. We're now on step number 4, but we started from the very beginning. We started by noticing our why, understanding our purpose, noticing the language we are using in our head, changing our limiting beliefs to a better outlook. And now we're using our brain, our thoughts, our knowledge in sync with our bodies. And we are appearing confident and we are adjusting our body language on purpose. So I want you to tell yourself that you are capable of achieving this goal, no matter what it is. It might be for some of you that your goal is to schedule that initial consultation with the clinic, or it might be that your goal is to make a decision about what clinic to go for, or it might be that your goal is to adjust your nutrition. Whatever it is, tell yourself that you are capable of achieving your goal and feel really that confidence as if you were already fully confident until it becomes a bit more natural to you. Now we're going to step number 5, and I really like this part of the process, because so many times when we are going through multiple cycles of fertility treatment, it can feel like a failure. And doctors, nurses, they even call it a failed cycle, and I really don't like that word. I don't like the word failure, because these cycles have been an opportunity for us to understand more about our bodies. There are certain things that we're not able to test. For example, we're not able to test the quality of female eggs with any other test unless you go through a cycle. So cycles of fertility treatments are not only treatment, but sometimes they are a bit diagnostic, and they are a way of understanding how you respond to treatment as well, so it can be optimized for your next cycle. So shifting our mindset from this was a failure to I've learned something about this process and I'm growing beyond it is really important. And I would say it's key, because if you want to build your confidence, we cannot see the past cycles as a complete failure. We need to see them as a learning process to be where we are where we are today, as a learning process to ultimately where we will be in a few months or in a year with baby or without baby. It's all part of the process. And we need to trust that this is a growth process. So when you start seeing things as a growth process, as a learning opportunity, all these challenges, we start perceiving them as opportunities. And we're able to approach them with a certain confidence, with a certain assurance. We're going to see them as a progress instead of a setback. So we're starting to see, okay, so this cycle has failed, but this is what I've learned. I've learned that maybe this medication doesn't work so well for me, or that maybe I need a bit more of that medication, or that there are certain things that I need to test and adjust. So this is a learning process. This is progress, and it's part of getting to where I want to get. So our confidence doesn't necessarily come from all the things that we achieve in life. It comes from within. And I think we need to believe and we need to be confident for us to manifest whatever is happening in our lives. it means that if if we do fail, if something does happen, we can pick ourselves up again, we can try again without giving up completely. So we need to nurture and train our brains to have this seed within us to help us embrace the growth mindset, to help us understand that this is part of the process and I'm not going to give up unless I absolutely feel that that's what I want to do. Confidence works in several circumstances. So it's being confident in what you want to do, what you want to achieve in life, regardless of, there may be a time when you don't want to try anymore, and that's absolutely fine. But in that case, maybe you want to be confident that you're going to have a happy, fulfilling life, regardless of not having a baby. So you can use confidence in several aspects of your life. So I'm going to take you to step number 6. And this is the last step. And here, I usually call it realistic thinking. A lot of people will talk about practicing positive thinking. I really don't like positive thinking because I don't like thinking that everything is amazing and great, or better than things actually are, because it can be really difficult to believe that things are really amazing when in reality you're going through a really hard situation. I mean, you haven't had the outcome that you wanted. And how can you be really positive about it? So, what I would like to invite you to do is not to have positive thinking, but also not to have negative thinking. I want us to practice a way of having realistic thinking. And here we're going to notice everything that is happening in our life in reality. Because once we have a realistic view, then we will feel more confident in the way we feel. We will feel more confident in ourselves, and we will feel more confident in the process. So to do this, we're going to notice all the things that are happening. We're going to think naturally about your past experiences, because that has happened to you in life. We cannot completely disregard that, but we're going to use them as a learning process. So we're going to notice everything that has happened, all the cycles that you've had, all the medications, all the attempts that you have had, all the things that haven't worked. But also, we're going to think about all the things that did work, all the things that did go well during those months or during those years. All the things that you're doing now that may make a difference to a future cycle, to a future treatment. So if you could do an exercise here, it would be to list down all the reasons why treatment may not work, but all the reasons why it may work. And once you have all the evidence written down, you can even do a very beautiful table. You write down all the evidences that go against, or all the evidence that go for it. Then you will feel more confident that this might actually happen. You will not feel maybe as sad, as hopeless, because you have a thinking that is more realistic. So this is my invitation to you, is to notice all the things that are happening in your life right now, all the things that happened throughout the year. Can you pick things that maybe have been actually good for your life? Things that have brought you joy, that have brought you love, that have brought you connection with yourself or with others, that maybe will be a stepping stone to where you want to be in 2021, that maybe will take you closer to your baby. So my key messages for today are to accept yourself. We're only human. Sometimes we think about all the things that we should do, should have, should be, you know, but we are only humans. And these standards that we have to ourselves, sometimes they are so much higher than the standards that we have to other people. So accept yourself, that you're only human, and learn that this strategy 1 to 6 to retrain your brain, because it's possible regardless of the treatment that you've had so far, or regardless of the other circumstances in life you've had or the upbringing that you've had. It's possible to retrain your brain. If you consistently do these 6 steps, it's possible to build more confidence, to build more resilience, and embracing the growth mindset, where we know that whatever has happened in the past is part of the process that is taking me where I want to get. Believing that life is happening for you. Everything that is happening in life is taking you where you need to go. And I would like to end here with this quote that I found from Ellen Keller. And she was the first deaf and blind person to earn a BA degree in the US. And you can imagine how difficult it must have been for her to do a degree when she couldn't hear and she couldn't see. And she says that optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. So, if anything, I would say follow the 6 steps, build the confidence, have absolute certainty within you of what you want to achieve, and that will lead to your achievement. I'm more than happy to take any questions, Caroline. I will just show you a bit of this is our enhanced fertility program, the one I was telling you about. This is where people are downloading it from all over the world. If you haven't done it yet, I will definitely share a link here um, to help you download it. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions about this topic, and I hope it has been maybe inspiring, and maybe a way forward to build resilience and hope to the next steps that everyone needs to take.
And thank you indeed so much. Definitely inspiring, Andrea, as always. Thank you so much for those tips, because sometimes I think they seem so simple, but this is always like a reminder, and I think everyone actually needs that. So thank you so
Mm.
much for this, and for giving those examples. Definitely useful and inspiring for sure. Thank you so much. And well, you are very right. It's time to have a look at your questions. And so, of course, Andrea will be happy to answer them for you. And Andrea, as you can see, there are some
Mhm.
questions right here. So let's go ahead and have a look at them. And the very first question is right here. How do I stay confident when other people say negative things to me about getting pregnant? When they say it is hard to get pregnant at my age, or hard to carry a baby and bring up a baby at my age. They say I have spent so much money already on IVF, etc., and just focus on other things now, not try again. They already have children, so they do not understand the place I am coming from.
Yeah, I think that is a great question, because so many times other people who don't understand, they haven't been through it, they aren't really the best people to give us advice, especially unsolicited advice. But people will say these things, so we sort of need to learn how to respond to these people. And like I was saying, confidence comes from within. So we know what are the facts. We know that it might be true that egg quality starts reducing after a certain age. That is a fact. But we also know that there are a certain percentage that might still be possible to have a baby with your own eggs, or maybe have a baby with donor eggs. So I would invite you to look at, to develop this realistic thinking, to notice it's true, it might be true, all of those things that people are saying, but maybe their brain is not telling them that other part, all the reasons why it might work. So I think if it's hard even for ourselves, I think it might be even harder for other people to come up with that. I usually think that other people's comments come out of a place of love and wanting to help, even when they're not helpful at all and they are actually very upsetting. But most people do want us good. But I want us to take charge of our confidence. And even though they might say, okay, it's hard to get pregnant or at your age, why don't you just enjoy life without children? It's not that easy, okay? But we need to find a way of having confidence that is absolute confidence in what I want, absolute confidence, absolute certainty in what I want to achieve in life. And it's true that there are some challenges, but it's true that there are some possibilities as well. And as long as I'm aware of that, as long as I have realistic thinking, I have absolute certainty in what I want to achieve. I know it can be hard, but if you do the 6 steps, and I'm not going to say that you're not going to get upset by what people say. We all do get upset from time to time. It never goes away, but it's like a muscle that we train. So we build our self-confidence, our absolute certainty in what we want, absolute certainty in what we want to get out of life. So that when they do say those things, we almost have like a shield that protects us, and that is our confidence. I hope it has been helpful, Shoba.
Thank you indeed so much for sharing, but also, Andrea, thank you so much for those encouraging words. It definitely helps, I am sure. And actually, before I go with the next question, there is another one from the same patient. Okay, so let me
Mm-hmm.
go straight to that one, and of course, we will
Okay.
go back to the previous ones. My self doubts. How do I change my belief that I am too old to be a mother and unfair to my child to have older parents? Everyone I know
Mm.
have kids when they were younger. I keep thinking my body can't handle a pregnancy or after if have a child, how to take care of my child my age. I am healthy but not as much as I was before. I am now in mid 40s.
Yeah, Shoba, I can see you have almost, uh, it's almost like you're split. You want something, but your brain is giving you this self-doubt. So I would say that you need to look at all the reasons that maybe you have now that says that maybe it's going to work. So we know that if you are in your mid 40s, it's true that egg quality is not as good, but there's other people who have gotten pregnant in their mid 40s. Maybe you need to consider egg donation if you do, if that's something that you are willing to consider, but it is a possibility. You are saying that maybe you're older, and I usually say that when women are older, they also have more experience. So it might be that you have more experience to look after a child now as opposed to someone who had a child when they were very, very young. So try to look at things from that different outlook. I think it was step number 2. Find a different outlook. All of those self-doubts, we need to manage them. We need to find ways to fight against them. If you think about, for example, your friend that is telling you those things about herself, saying, well, maybe I'm too old. What would you tell your friend if your friend was having those self-doubts about herself? So try and think about all the good things about maybe having a child at this age, all the things that might actually work. And I think when we start deconstructing the self doubts, then we're halfway to building the confidence that we need to believe that it might going to happen.
Thank you indeed so much for that. And before we move on to the next question, I just want you to also see that there is another comment from another patient.
Yeah,
S- I'm 45 and still trying. Don't give up. Stay strong.
absolutely, absolutely. You're not alone.
Exactly. So as you can see, you are, as Andrea said, not alone. So you are not alone. There are many of us in the same boat.
Mhm.
Be kind to yourself. So thanks already also for this encouraging words. And yeah, well, thank you so much indeed. Fingers crossed for all and each of you for sure. Okay. And let's have a look at the next question that we do have here. Thank you so much for presenting. I feel like you really understand, especially with regards to Christmas coming up. I am having IVF abroad, and with COVID and quarantines
Mhm.
and lockdowns and one failed transfer, it feels overwhelming, and I feel I am in limbo, waiting for the next cycle. How can I stop constantly thinking about treatment all the time?
Yeah, I think that that is a great question. I think so many people have found themselves in that circumstance because they're having treatment abroad. There's so many people having treatment abroad that it has become a bit difficult with the coronavirus travel restrictions. I think we need to consider the things that we are worried about that are under our control and the things that are outside our control. If we're thinking about the travel restrictions, that is outside our control. So I would call that unhelpful worry. That's a worry that there is no solution to it that is within our means. So we need to sort of help it let go, and we need to start focusing on things that are within our control. So I would maybe shift focus to the things that you could do during this waiting time that could help you get ready for when that time happens that you can have fertility treatment again. It might be that you can do things to help your body physically and emotionally. It might be that you want to take this time to have a break and maybe focus on a certain hobby. So just try and focus on things that you can indeed do instead of things that you can't do. And I can see a comment here, the worry tree. Man, it's an amazing tool. We have that tool in our app as well, and it's an amazing tool. Think about, is it something, there's something we can do about it or not? Um, yeah, I think you definitely need to do check that worry tree, Ingham.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much once more for well, the question. Definitely, this is the question that we've received many times this year.
Mhm.
So thank you so much, of course, for this, and also for that comment as well. Thank you so much, Andrea. And let's have a look at the next question. And I just want to remind everyone, if you have any left, go ahead and type those in so that Andrea can help you out. And the question is how to feel more confident, resilient, calm in the 2 week wait.
Yeah, I think that is a great question. We get that question quite a lot. And I think we even did a whole webinar on coping with the 2 week wait. So I think it would be interesting to go back. I think it might have been already last year, Caroline, but it's definitely there on your website still.
Yeah, I will send you a link just a second in a
Yeah.
second.
But, the 2 week wait triggers, it's one of the most challenging times of fertility treatment. And we need to start thinking about all the things that might shake your confidence or your ability to remain calm or resilient. So you might be thinking about all the what ifs that might happen. What if this doesn't work? Which I think is one of the most common fears. So we need to, one of the useful strategies that we found was, number one, to do things during the 2 week wait that nurture your body physically and emotionally. You do things that maybe you hadn't done in a while. You look after yourself. You maybe watch a movie. You eat healthy. You do things that bring you joy and happiness. And secondly, it's almost impossible not to think about all the what ifs. So it's good to schedule a time in the day when you do think about all the things, or maybe when you go on Instagram or the fertility forums and you just vent about it and you speak with other people who do understand. So trying to find a balance between, I'm allowing myself the time to worry, but I'm also keeping myself busy with things that allow me to enjoy this period of time. And I would say the third tip would be a mindfulness recording. We have a very good mindfulness recording in the app, which is all about remaining confident during the 2 week wait. So do go there and check it, and you can listen to it maybe every morning or whenever you're feeling a bit more stressed or when you can't shake off the worry during the 2 week wait.
And thank you indeed so much for yet another question and, of course, for your help. And yes, I have just sent you the link to the webinar that we had. That was definitely a year ago. However, I'm sure it's still something
Relevant. Yeah.
exactly, and you will find it useful and helpful, I'm sure. But also, I want you to see there is a comment. So I found the 2 week wait difficult as I questioned
Mm.
everything I did, thinking IVF would not work. Anything else you can add?
I think you're not alone in that. I think it's one of the most difficult times, and it might be that in different cycles you cope with the 2 week wait differently. It's not like the more cycles you do, the better it gets. Definitely not. I think we need to find ways to cope with the worry, allowing ourselves time to worry, but still allowing time, keeping ourselves busy, nurturing our body, doing things that bring us joy, allowing us to feel connected with ourselves, with our bodies, with our environment. Um, I think that it will never be the most perfect 2 weeks of your life, but we need to find ways to not make it feel like it lasts longer than 2 weeks, I think.
That is true, indeed, of course. Thank you so much for this. And we need to wait a bit. So let me just know if you have any questions, just go ahead and type those in. If not, we will be finishing. However, I just want to mention that if you would simply would like to get some more details from Andrea, just you can get in touch with her using the link I am just about to send to you right now. There is an
Mhm.
option to get in touch, and I am 100% sure that Andrea will be more than happy to help you out. And as you know, as you've seen, she has lots of useful advice and tips to help you out in any way she can. So let's give it a minute. I just definitely want to make sure that we have answered all of your questions. If not, we will be finishing. But Andrea, as you can see, there are some comments already. Great advice. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks
thank
for a
you.
great talk, Andrea. It is very inspiring. And so, before I let you go, anything else you would like to add?
I just want to say that you have the love, the strength, the joy within you to cope with whatever life throws at you. Even if at times it feels like you can't cope with it, you can. So if you can take anything out of today, I would say it's that, remember my voice, to say that you have the love, the joy, the strength to cope with whatever life brings at you. And I wish you all the joy and all the love, all the strength for 2021.
Yes, that is a definitely perfect summary. And yes, as you said, just before you go to bed tonight, this is a good thing to think about, Andrea, and what you said just now. Thank you so much indeed for this. And there are more thank yous coming up your way. And I can only add thank you so much for joining, for listening. And as you know, we are always here to support you, and we are always here to simply wish you all the best, and fingers crossed that everything is going to get a little bit easier and a little bit more positive as well. We are definitely in need of that this year, more than usual, I guess. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, and I just want you to see. Thank you. This is my first time here, and it's been very helpful. Okay, good to know that. Thank you so much, Adele, for this. We are happy to have you here with us as well.
Mhm.
I just want to mention that if you missed any part of this, or if you would like to see some previous webinars with Andrea, all you need to do is just go to our website, myivfences.com, and use the link I have sent before with Andrea Trigo right there. And I'm sure it will be very, very useful for you as well. And if you wish to get in touch with Andrea, this is also the link to go to. And well, you know that we will be back here tomorrow. So I do hope to see you at 8 p.m. UK time. There are some other topics that we are going to discuss. We are slowly finishing all those stronger together events, but of course it's not over yet, so I do hope to see you back here. And Andrea, thank you a lot, not only for this webinar with us tonight, but also from all the previous ones.
Mm.
You've been supporting our Stronger Together initiative from the very, very beginning, but even before we started with the Stronger Together event. So thanks a lot for joining us over and over again, and of course for your useful tips all the time. And
Uh,
of course, even though this is our last event this year, I know that we will be back with some more webinars. So I am already looking forward to this. So thank you, Andrea, for everything that you do. And well, till our next event as well, right?
yes. Thank you, Caroline.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely evening and take care all. Good night. Bye.